Hello and Happy New Year. This is the very first video of 2019 for me. I'm so happy to have you guys here. So for the beginning of the year, I know we always make these goals and these resolutions. We're so excited to just get going. New year, new chapter, get to kind of put away the old and begin the new. So what I thought would be a really cool thing to do with my YouTube channel for the beginning would be to show you guys just some simple tutorials on basic things like applying foundation, doing contouring, achieving fuller lips, so on and so forth. If you have more ideas, let me know. Anyway, today's tutorial is all about my brows. It is dedicated to my brows that I mistreated for so many years, and it really is true what they say, that the brows shape the face. There are so many days where this is the entire look that I wear out, and I'm perfectly fine with that. But without brows, So really, all I do is apply my brows, I'm set to go, and I just feel like a whole new different person, and I feel like I am ready to conquer the day. And in this case, 2019. But anyway, I am here today to show you guys how I fill in my brows and give you some quick tips to achieve the perfect brow. To start off, you want to make sure that you have the right shape for your brow. A quick and easy way to do that is to look at the 3 points along your face. Taking a pencil or a small brush, you can do this very quickly. So you're going to begin by placing your pencil or your brush along the edge of your nostril and make a straight line. This should pass right through the inner corner and tell you right where your eyebrows should begin. Any further, you should tweeze. Any farther out, you should let them grow so that they achieve this starting point. The next thing you want to look for is where your arch or the high part of your brow begins. To do this, again, start at the same point, but now tilt toward the edge of your pupil, and that's where you should find your highest point. The tail end of your brow can be found, again, starting at that nostril point and going all the way along the end of your eye right here. Taking that, and wherever it is that meets is where your eyebrow should end. Those are just some quick and easy tips to be able to achieve the shape. Another tip to think about with your brows is to ensure that the thicker part of your brow is at the beginning and slowly it will thin out toward the end of the brow. If you want to do your own brows at home, you could follow the guide I just showed you, fill in your brows, and then tweeze out any extra or excess hairs that you find, and then cut down any pieces that you need. I personally go and get my brows threaded once a month. I let them grow out within that last week before I go, but other than that, I maintain them myself. For this tutorial, I actually cleaned them up last night, and I did a little bit of trimming along the top, and I did get rid of the excess. But today, I'm just going to be showing you guys how to fill in. So let's get right into that. There are many different brow products out there, but I think it's really up to personal preference what you choose to use. There are things out there like a brow pencil, both a thin and a thick. There are tinted brow gels, powders, and even brow pomades, which I don't happen to have here. The choice you make, I think, really depends on what style brow you're going for, and also just what product you find to be the easiest or the most flattering. For me, I actually like to use the brow pencils the most because they're quick and they're easy. I started with those when I first started filling in my brows. I moved into the pomade for a little bit, but then I felt like that was too harsh of a line. I moved into powders and just kind of tried everything until I found what I really liked. Perhaps my favorite combination though has to be the pencil and the brow powder together. For today's tutorial, I'm going to be using the Wet n Wild Ultimate Brow Retractable Brow Pencil in the color Ash Brown. You can find this at the drugstore. I found mine at Target. It's really inexpensive and it has a really nice shape. This is a definite dupe as far as the shaping goes to the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Definer. I will not be using this one today only because this is in the ebony color and I feel like it is too dark right now for my brows. Typically, you like to go 1 to 2 shades lighter than your hair. I have done it the exact same color as my hair and felt that it looked fine, but recently I just feel like the ebony seems too dark, so I've been using more of a brown or dark brown color. I start by brushing my brows up and out using the spoolie side of the pencil. Most of these come with them. So I'm just gonna brush up and then brush out. This allows for me to get rid of any loose hairs that might be around, look to see if there are any hairs that are too long that I might want to trim down, and of course to set the shape for my brow. So I'm going to take it up, take it out. The next thing I'm going to do is to begin to fill in the brow by outlining the bottom of my eyebrow. So I like to begin right at the beginning of the brow and follow it along to the end. I try to make a thin line as close as possible to the natural eyebrow itself. And then I'm going to do the exact same thing on the top, but rather than start right at the beginning, I'm going to go about a quarter in and also outline. Now you can see that the shape has been defined there. So now I'm going to move on to filling them in. I like to fill from the top down. So I just follow really the natural strokes of my own eyebrow, the way that my hairs are already set up. And in the same way that I talked about before with them being thicker in the front and then thinner as you go out, they should also be, or at least this is what I personally like, is to have them be lighter in the front and darker as you go back. So I do press a little bit harder here. I do add a little more color here. And then I go kind of to the front right here, to the bottom front, and I add that extra color. Now for the beginning of my brow, I'm actually going to change the way that I hold my pencil. So I'm going to, rather than having it be this flat, I guess horizontal way of me holding it, I'm going to hold it up vertically. This is going to allow me at that very beginning to create these straight little strokes that will fall in line with the shape of my brow. This is actually also my more sparse brow, so it's really nice that I showed you guys on this one. So I'm just going to take it up. There's no real stopping point, but I mean, obviously you don't want to make your line up to here, but I'm kind of just making small strokes, and then I take those small strokes outward as well to match up with what I've already done. Now if you take a look closely, there really isn't a defined line right at that first quarter of my brow, but what I can do is go back and just add a little bit by using the same little strokes, but kind of having them go horizontally. So something like this. And this is very light. I like barely touch my brow. One thing I like to do before I'm all set is to look at them from the side in a mirror so that I can see any of those sparse little areas that I might have missed and go back and fill those in. Like I said before, I didn't really treat my brows very well in the past. I had thin brows. My brows are actually pretty light on their own in comparison to my hair, so I don't have much hair there anyway, so I wouldn't fill them in. I mean, it just looked so bad, and then now it's like it just brings you to life. So like I said, anyway, I really just like to have a natural like brow. So I feel like I achieved that with the pencil. Of course, if you like something that is much more square, really filled in, a pomade would be great for you, things like that. But I just really like this. I feel like it's easy, it looks nice all the time, and it doesn't look over the top. So to set everything, of course, I want to go in with a brow gel. Today I'm going to be using the Anastasia Beverly Hills Clear Brow Gel. The entire name has ripped off, or rubbed off, not ripped off, okay? The entire name has rubbed off, so it's not there, but I promise you, it's Anastasia Beverly Hills, so you can kind of see right there. And again, this is not the brow gel that you have to get. There are so many out there, so many different brands are making them and such cheap alternatives, and they do a great job. So with this, I'm just gonna follow from the beginning of my brow in that upward and then outward stroke, all the way to the end. That's just how I prefer to do it. I've seen it done a few different ways. This is how I do it. And this is just going to help set the brow for the day. It really doesn't move at all. And the brows itself are finished. Now, one extra thing I like to do when I really go full on brow, and you can do this with concealer, but this is if you just kind of want that day to day, and because I'm showing you guys just brows and I'm not gonna do anything else to my face, this is something that I would use, is a brow highlighter. This one is by the brand Chella. And you can see it's just got that highlight point right there. And all I do is draw a quick and small line from the beginning about to the arch of my brow, just like that. I'll draw them on both sides. And then I take a small angled brush, such as this one by Eco Tools. You can also take a flat eyeliner brush and it will work as well. And what I do is I use this to follow the natural line underneath my brow, and then I blend in. And if you noticed, I added the product about a quarter of the way in. I don't really like to do it heavily right in the beginning, but I end up dragging a little bit of that product toward the beginning of my brow so it gets covered anyway. Really, my biggest emphasis with this too is also on the arch of the brow, that high point, because what this does is it really defines the brow, it lifts the eye, and it gives you that more of an awakened look. And then that is it for my brows. If you want something even more defined, you can take that same highlighter color and you can define it along the top of the brow. And like I said before, this works as well with concealer, especially if you're gonna put on a lot of makeup after. Also, I think it works really well with that concealer if you're someone who does your eyes and your eyebrows first before doing your foundation, like me. Today, however, I do have a little bit on already. So that pretty much completes it for the brows. Now my brows are all set for the day. I hope you enjoyed this quick tutorial on how I fill in my brows. Stay tuned for next week when I give you guys another quick and easy tutorial to help with your everyday makeup routine. As always, thank you for stopping by. Let me know what you guys thought of this in the comments. Give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time in the next video. Happy New Year!